Okay, so this is part 6. I will go through it with you on actually what is the most easiest thing that we are able to do to get marks for this exam scenario, exam question. Um, so I explained to you before, step by step, what is the code required for each part, but then we're going to collect all these parts together here, and we will start with the important thing. So not the important, but the things that is very easy to write. So if you see here, these two lines of code actually with the comment here. So this comes from this table. So I was able to build this these two arrays, wood type and price, from this table. Okay, so if you can look here, he said the data are stored in two 1D arrays, wood type and price. Okay, where did he, in the exam question, he requests from us to actually write or initialize these two arrays? If you look here, so you will see that he's tell us to initialize these two arrays. So when we initialize them, we got marks for that. And the most important that we heavily comment the code. So the more comments that you write, you can guarantee between 2 to 4 marks, and you just didn't write too much code. You still didn't write too much code. Okay. You need to heavily comment your code. Okay. So, okay. As we said before, if we look at here, so let me try to put this aside here, this put it up. So one of the two arrays that we have, customers and quotations. And if we look also, we will see that we are going to store customer names inside the customers list here. And inside the 2D quotation, 2D array, we're going to store the length of the room, width of the room, area, choice of the wood, and price of the wood required in dollars. Okay, so far away from that, you will also discover that we need to input a new customer name. Okay, in addition to the room length and width. So I will start the thing that I will start with. I will write and list down all the variable names that I'm going to use in this code or this solution that I'm going to present out. Of course, definitely you have to do that in the paper, but I'm going to list it out to you. So customer name, I take it as an input, and this is the variable for storing the customer name. I'm going to store the area, and I'm going to not take it actually. I just put 0. I initialize it to 0. So I'm going to write the length here, the length of the room, and I'm also going to put it as 0. And I'm going to take the width, and also I'm going to put it as 0. So, and one of the, I mean, of course, and the total price, definitely I will put it into 0. So from where I get the total price, or even the price. So that is from here, he said the price of the wood. Okay, what about the choice of the wood? So actually for every thing that I need to insert inside the 2D array, I already create a variable for it. Okay, so it doesn't matter how I'm going to fill in the information here. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just going to initialize those variables to 0. And I'm going to put my output, okay? The output here, I'm going to heavily comment the output. So the output is going to display the full quotation to the customer. And if you look here, he said what? He said output the customer quotation to include the name of the customer, the choice of the wood, and the calculated price of the wood required, okay? So this is the output. I didn't do anything yet. I just initialize the variables. Okay. Initialize variables to store customer data and the quotation. So this is one of the easiest thing that you can achieve without too much knowledge of programming. So just look, read, and then you think, okay, customer name need to be saved into a variable name. So I created a variable name for that. Area is already mentioned in the 2D array, so I needed to create a variable for that. I initialize all to zeros, and then the easiest thing that also I can do is that he asked me here to store all the data in the relevant array. So if you have a customer data, you have to add it to the customer array. You have a quotations array, which is a 2D array, and that quotation array are going to take almost 5 types of data. So we look here, we're going to take the length of the room, width of the room, area, choice, and the price of the wood. So I didn't make the choice yet, so I will make the choice, which is definitely going to be also carrying, let me put the choice as 1, because typically the choice of the wood here, choices that we have start from here from 0, 1, 2, and 3. As you look here, the index start from 1, so I put the default one as 1. It doesn't matter, even if you put 0, it's still okay. The point here, so I will, so without too much details, I will start to actually insert all the data, store all the data, store data into relevant array. Okay, so as you see here, the customers dot append and the customer name. So I am inserting this very easy. It's very, very easy. You just need to know, you need to insert what into which array. Okay, and definitely I can read it from here that this customers list, it take up to 100 customer names. Okay, so we look at the next. So the next would be this quotations array, which got also append, and then okay, now I need to insert a list of data. It's a 2D array, so definitely it will take the length. So from where I get this, okay, I get it from here. If you look here, so it gets the length of the room, width, area. So let's insert it in this way. Let's come here. So this is the length. And then I put comma. And then I put width, area, total price, and choice. Is that correct? Total price and choice. So I think we need to take this here and put the choice and the total price at the end here. So that is how I stored my data. So even though I did not do any, I mean, I didn't do any validation, I didn't do anything. This is just simple. He says store the data, so I stored them. I initialize all the variables to zeros and ones, and then I store the data. I already printed the data. So all this is a requirement that you, even with simple understanding, you still can write the code. Okay, now let's talk about 2 easy things that we are able to do, which is one of the easiest thing, if you look at it here, without talking about validation yet, which is also one of the easiest thing to do, which is calculate the price of the wood. Okay, calculate the area of the room, multiplying together the length of the room and the width of the room. So the area, he say that the area is equal the length multiplied by the width. Okay, so it's quite simple. It means that I already done one whole requirement. I mean, without deep understanding of what's going on, I'm still doing that. Okay, so it means that even when you go and print something like that, that is still meaningful. Okay, now what we will do now is that we will try to get the template, which is we always use to do this validation, and we will try to modify the template to use it in the validation purpose here. So as you say here, input a new customer name, room length, and room width, and check each measurement is valid. So measurements is definitely the length and the width. Name is not a measurement, okay? And then he say, check output an error message and ask the user to re-enter if it is not valid. So this actually 3 is not so difficult at all. Input a new customer where we already do it. So we just need to, second thing is, I would say, we can say the length equal, okay. So we use the float as we talked before, because the values expected is between 1.5 to 10. And let us talk also about the width, and the width also is almost the same. This is a part of what we are doing. So we just take the input, and we did not yet implement the validation part. So definitely the validation part have to be, if the length is actually less than 1.5 or bigger than 10 in this case, okay? So if it is like that, then we need to not print, but let us assume that it is print first, and then we ask the user to input the length again. Okay, so as we see here, actually this is not needed because I mean, the input already is showing a text message. So it's possibly that I mean, it's okay that we don't really put a message as long as we are able to modify this message here to make it show an error, because that is part of a requirement. Or we can do the simple thing is we print a message saying that invalid length, and please enter a length between 1.5 and 10. This is just to satisfy the part that is requiring output and a message. Or you can modify this text here to make it show an error message. Okay, so we are able to use both. We can say invalid length here. We can put invalid length here like that, and then we can comment that part, so we don't need it anymore. So it is up to you. It's totally up to you. If you would like to mix them both together, that's totally fine. If you would like to make them separate, it's totally up to you. If you want to save time, then definitely mix both of them in one line. So I would say here we are validating the length of the room input. So and from the user, and maybe not calculating the error rate, and showing error message if the input is invalid. So we are using a validation algorithm. So we need to heavily actually we need to heavily comment the code, okay? And so we need to do the same with the width. So if we copy that part, because they are almost similar, so, and we start to modify it here. Okay, so we talk about width. They are sharing the same width also. Is between 1.5 and 10. It should not be less than 1.5. And then if we say here, we would like to say print, the width should be between 1.5 and 10. And then we take another input for the width. So by doing so, we are also can comment that line and really put a lot of efforts to really heavily comment, because that will get you guarantee that you get a lot of marks here, showing an error message. So this is just simple, okay? If the user is if the input is invalid. So I mean, by doing so, you already satisfy a lot of requirements here, okay? So I'm choosing the easiest thing that we are able to implement without going into too much details. And then I would also, one of the easiest things that I can see that I am able to implement very fast now is that he is telling us that continue to accept next customer. So if he accept a single customer and he takes the customer name and he would like us to continue accepting customers, it means that we need to put this code in a loop. So I mean, all those we need to modify them in a way that allow us to take more customers. So I would say while true, okay, and so while true, it will guarantee that all this code is going to get repeated again and again. I would say this initialization can actually be totally up here. I don't need it to be down. And this is initializing the variables. I can write it here. And then, okay. So while true, I'm taking a new customer name and I'm starting to validate the data here. I'm just indenting those so that they are under the while loop. So it means that every time I like to take a new customer, so I will choose to continue. Let me show you here. So this is the area calculation. So one thing we forgot so far to do is that the total price actually. Okay, so let me try to remember that before we forgot. So we need to initialize a variable that is called unit price. So this unit price will be the price of a single square meter multiplied, or I mean, let me see. This, yeah, unit price. It's the one that we are going to get out from this list, because we have for each type of wood we have a different price. So we just would like to initialize or create a unit price here, and we initialize it to 0. And the total price, which is something that we can get marks for, a total price is that we multiply the area by the unit price. Unit price is something maybe a bit tricky, but we will go through it because you have to find the choice of the user. He will have to select from this type of wood, and based on his selection, you will know that this is the price per square meter, or we can even call it price per square meter. So we can call this here price square meter, okay, and square meter like that. and we can initialize it to 0. Okay. And we can go down here, and we can say that after we calculate the area, so the total price will be equal area by the square meter. Okay. So I mean, and this is a part of the things that we need to do. So it will be remaining that how you are able to ask the user to input a choice. So how I'm getting this? So he asking you here, input the choice of the wood and find its price by square meter. So the choice of the wood that you need to choose is actually a number between 1 to 3. 1 for laminate, 2 for pine, and 3 for oak. And it's just an input a statement that you need to use. So how we do that, we can also easily write it here. So we are able to say choice, which is a variable that we already created. So you're taking input from the user and you're telling him, okay, 1 for laminate, 2 for pine, and 3 for oak. And you're converting that to an integer. And I would say that so far we have done a very huge part here. So I would say the remaining information here, which might be seem a bit difficult for some people, would be to actually to use the choice here. So the choice here is actually the index. So we have a list, and we need to use these variables that carry the choice to actually choose what type of wood. So the type of wood, okay, will be chosen. It's actually chosen by the user. And the choice here is representing the index, and it will be able to tell us the type of wood that the user choose. And based on the type of wood, we are able to use the same index, which is carried or stored in the choice here, to get the price. Okay. So that again might appear a bit difficult for some people, but we will do it. But before I forgot, we need to actually write the code that will allow us to keep loop. So we need to ask the user if he want to have another quotation. So we will say maybe continue. Okay, better not use continue. So maybe we can use con equal, and then we ask the user if he would like to continue or not, and then we ask if con not equal yes, then we break. So this kind of code that we have here, we asking the user if he would like to enter another quotation, which means that we will take another username and another details, lengths and widths and area and so on from the user, and we will definitely validate that. If it is not equal yes, then we break, means that we break the loop and we stop executing the whole code. So let us do the remaining little part here, okay? And by doing so, we almost try about to actually finish all the code. So okay, so we have two I would say the wood choice, wood type, so equal wood type and choice. So from inside the wood type array, I'm going to pass the choice of the user, and since it's starting from 1, so I'm able to choose the pine and laminate, pine and oak, and based on the type of wood, I'm able to get the price. Okay, and this price will be multiplied by the area, and that will give me the total price. So this, I would say, maybe it's a bit tricky, but taking input from the user is never tricky. So that is a straightforward that you are able to write. Entering and saving all the data into an array, even before you fill in the data itself, it is not tricky at all. Printing the output like that and writing comments is not tricky at all. Heavily commenting the code is not tricky at all. Okay, so I would say this is something that you can train yourself on. And if you have question, please write to me.